everyone, welcome back. Thank you for joining me tonight. This is a general reading for Cancer signs in the Sun, Moon, and Rising position for April 15th to the 30th, 2021. Okay, let's see what messages we have for Cancer in the Sun, Moon, and Rising position for April the 15th to the 30th, 2021. Okay, Cancer. So right now you find yourself in a situation where there's been a sudden shift. Something has come to an end. You're at the end of something and you are not particularly accepting this end. You're having a difficult time accepting the end of some cycle that is necessary. It is a necessary end to a cycle. And you're having a hard time letting go of it because you were all getting set to take the next phase in whatever it is that left. Okay, so you were getting ready to take the next phase, the next step towards something that you really felt connected to doing, and the opportunity is left. The opportunity to do whatever it was that you wanted to do is no longer available because something in your life has shifted, and in your mind you feel so ready to burst out with this really creative project. And you met some initial sort of steps, like you took a few steps towards this, but then all of a sudden, because you took these couple of steps, it caused a massive shift. Yeah, it was the steps you took, Cancer. So I was going to say Gemini. It was the steps you took towards this project that you really have on your mind big time that caused a shift. There you go. It was the steps you took that caused a shift. Okay, my Geminis. This isn't Gemini. Oh, I have gas. Okay, my Cancers. This interesting reading is bringing a lot of change your way. This timeline is fascinating. You started doing something recently. You started something new, Cancer. You started something new that you felt really passionate about, and you took the first few steps towards it. And, the first few steps, and it changed everything, didn't it? It changed everything. So many things started to fall away, and you're in a position right now where you need to accept all of this new stuff because, you really want to take whatever it is that you're, starting up. You really want to take this to the next level. But, it's interesting. It's really challenging the way you look at authority. It's really challenging some of the things that you believed about yourself. It's really challenging things here. And in fact, it's showing you so much truth that you're having a bit of anxiety about it. You're feeling anxious about it. And you're not sure how to express this going forward now that everything has shifted. There's been a lot of energy shifting around you, and you do feel prosperous though with your identity. Like you feel solid and prosperous in the physical sense. That hasn't been shaken. Your sense of self is strong. Inner sense of self is very strong. You've got the Nine of Pentacles there. You really do feel grounded in your sense of identity. So it wasn't a shift in who you are that happened, but it was a shift in something to do with your perception of yourself in authority. Okay, so something in the past happened to really shift something in how you saw yourself in an authority figure. This may have had to do with someone who was an Aries. Something in the past really caused a shift for you. This could have brought in this idea, you know, something in the past with an Aries or with a father figure or with your own sense of that on an inner level caused you to put into action something new. And that something new was something new, but in order for it to come through, something had to go. And you're struggling to understand this thing that had to come to an end. You're almost resisting it coming to an end, even though you can understand the reason it came to an end. You know, it has that tower energy, right? Something had to come to an end for something new to be born. And you understand that, but you're having a hard time letting go of whatever this was that had to go. Now, the thing that had to go could have involved a Scorpio. So you could have been sort of switching up your energy here. You could have, you know, had to see something with a Scorpio go away because something with an Aries was getting pushed into the future, or into the present, excuse me, with a lot of energy that almost suggests like a bushfire. Like it's almost like the energy of an Aries, like this Two of Wands suggests. Like it's this fast, motivating, fiery burn, right? And it's interesting because the Emperor is also represented by Aries. So there was like this almost like this creative spark. Okay, it was a creative spark that took over, and once it did, man, it shook everything up. It changed everything around you. A lot of illusions fell apart, right? Like the veil was lifted and a lot of stuff changed, tower energy. And you're having a hard time sort of accepting that change and trusting, right? The Hanged Man in reverse is here in the future to suggest that you're having a hard time accepting and trusting the process of this Tower and this Death card in reverse here. You know, you're not accepting this change easily, right? You're having a lot of anxiety about it. So it's time to trust and accept and keep going, because you really have something huge in mind. You want to take this Two of Wands and turn it into the King of Wands. You really have something big you want to contribute. Now, other people see you as this outer manifestation that you put into the world, which is justice. So other people see you as being very, very just. You know, and you're a Cancer. And so the Cancer energy is always trying to balance things as well, but in a more flowy, emotional way. The Justice card is really more Libra energy, which is more mental. So the way you're coming off to the rest of the world is that you're really in your head about this situation. You're really trying to balance it out, when as a Cancer, you know, your job is to balance it out, but by having an emotional flow, right? And so when you see the Hanged Man, it really does talk about that flow in the sense of the trust, right? You have to have trust here so that you're not in your head trying to do the math all the time. That's certainly how you're coming across to the universe and to the outer world, is that you're trying to logic a situation that is emotional, and it's not just emotional, but it's also soul-based, right? Like you've got a fiery soul element here. You've got two cards representing Aries, which suggests, you know, a passion that burns hot and quick. You know, and it's really because you're on the path of self-discovery, and that frightens you a little bit, because the path of self-discovery is full of moments where there is change. Okay, and right now you're pretty stable. So, you know, Nine of Pentacles, identity stable. So that is scary to you. This Fool card has landed in the hopes and fears location of your reading, which suggests that any sort of alteration to your identity is scary for you, because you really have a solid sense of your identity. And so if any of it is falling away from you, it's really hard for you to accept that. You're having a challenging time understanding this rebirth that you're going through. And so the outcome card for you here is that, Spirit really wants you to rest. And you're resistant to it, but Spirit wants you. The Four of Swords is sort of reminiscent of that hermit energy, where we want to be in solitude to really understand something and avoid the grips of depression. This card in reverse is a warning that you could fall into the grips of depression here, Cancer, if you don't look at this as a rebirth. If you look at this Death card and you attach the meaning of loss to it, you're really going to struggle to see the truth in this, and you could fall into the grips of a depression. You're already feeling anxious, so we don't want to add depression to that mix. Now, we know that depression means you're contemplating the past too much, and then anxiety means you're contemplating the future too much. Really, what you need to do is focus in on the present, because what you're working on in the present really is your own path of self-discovery, and you're really working on manifesting something very soulful here that really wants to come through, and you've done this kind of self-discovery work in the past, and it did lead you to a very stable, sense of self, a very stable sense of self that has now been, it's falling apart. It's falling away because you are the Fool. You are on the path of self-discovery, Cancer. And as a result, you're going to go through several evolutions, right? And so the past is the past, and the future hasn't happened yet. So you need to focus on the present, where you're trying to push through this beautiful soul project. And in the past, you really had a hard time with being almost wrapped up in the idea of father figure energy. So you were really focusing on what people thought of you, maybe what your father thought of you, or people in a father figure like sort of authority role. You were really focused on what they thought of you, and now you're in a state of anxiety because your identity is sort of falling apart around you, but it's doing that so that something amazing can come in. We have to make room. You're making room for the King of Rods energy here. So you are the Nine of Pentacles right now, very, very solid, but you're evolving. So there's nothing to suggest that you're not going to be just as solid. You're just going to be different. You're evolving. You're discovering who you are. You are feeling anxious about it. You are resisting this slightly. So we need to turn that around and not be too logical about it. We just need to be more spiritual. You want to take some of that logic that the outer world sees you as, being really, really logical and pragmatic, and we want to insert some conscious, mindful activities that keep us in the present and keep us trusting that everything is happening to help you evolve, and that having an open mind and an open perspective that is flexible and trusting will serve you. Okay, my Cancer friends. Now I want to give you a card, final card here for your words of encouragement throughout this timeline. How can we encourage our Cancer friends dealing with this situation where they are on the path of self-discovery and they are changing? Their sense of identity is changing. Maybe some of the people in their life are changing. Oh, a card flip. Ooh. Oh, this is nice. Imagine. So you received the Imagine card. Now, I like this for you because it really does suggest that all the possibilities are in front of you. And that depending on how and what story you tell yourself about this rebirth, it's really going to determine how it feels. And so, the Imagine card really does encourage you to just imagine all the possibilities of where this could take you. You are really working on something big here. Focus on that. Keep that as your focus. Don't worry so much about the fact that your identity is changing. It's going to be okay. Nothing is coming that you won't be able to handle. Just keep your mind open. Keep it imaginative. Keep yourself curious about what's going to unfold when you really fully step into this timeline of the wand energy that you've really started. You're at the 2 right now, and that changed everything. Once you started taking those first steps, it changed everything. And it's not a bad thing that it changed everything, even if it's scary and it's making you feel anxious right now. It is leading to your evolution, this 2 of Pentacles here. It's really helping change you so that you can express yourself as an evolved version of yourself. And you know what? The skies are the limit. So you just keep open and stay imaginative. Okay, thank you so much for joining me tonight, my Cancer friends. If this reading has resonated and you would like a personal reading, my email is in the description box below. Do not hesitate to contact me. I always love hearing from you guys. Okay, take care, and we'll see you again soon for another reading.